My next guest is not only one of my neighboring stylists and salon owners here on Florida's East Coast that I've known for quite some time, he's one of my major motivations in business for the salon and spa and for my coaching courses and education, but also just such a force when it comes to the beauty and barber industry. Did I mention he was Gina Bianca's classmate in cosmetology school? With his 20 plus chair, beautiful Paul Mitchell focused salon and spa, Mr. Paul Wolfgang is a true businessman living his best life, traveling the globe, and slathering on that lotion on his naked Zolo dog, who is just gorgeous, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Wolfgang. Are you a beauty or barber pro looking for that push to do that thing you've always wanted to do, whether it's in or out of the salon, spa, or shop? Are you tired of not feeling good enough, smart enough, skilled enough? Are you tired of not getting a handle on your mental health, boundaries, and insecurities? I'm Christine Sherwood, the BeautyPro coach, an internationally certified coach, a salon and spa owner, and your personal Jiminy Cricket. I use my own experiences, good and bad, as a salon owner to help you be more self-aware, authentic, and forward-thinking in your approach to life, in and out of the salon. It's time to reach your version of success with the BeautyPro Coach podcast. Okay, my fellow listeners, my friends, I am so excited about today's guest. This is Christine, by the way, the BeautyPro coach of the BeautyPro podcast. And my guest today is one of my faves. He is so amazing. He is a powerhouse of a businessman. He is an amazing creator behind the chair. And I want you to welcome Mr. Paul Wolfgang.
Hi, everybody.
How are you, Paul?
Good. I'm really glad to be here. I think this is actually a really cool thing that you're doing. This is exciting. I think more people should talk about the things that you're talking about. So this is great.
Oh, thank you. So really quickly, I have always known you as Wolfgang, like forever. And then I looked at your Instagram and it says Paul. So who are you really?
Well, Wolfgang I was named after my grandfather. So it's my mom's dad is Wolfgang. It's actually a pretty common name in Germany.
Okay.
And Paul is actually on my dad's side. So I have an uncle named Paul. So Paul Wolfgang. Okay. And when you're younger, it's like you want to fit in and not be different. And then when you get older, you're like, I want to be different. Yeah. So I have some people that know me as Wolfgang and I have some people that know me as Paul. And some people call me Mr. G from my teaching days. And I know. So it's like
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So for our listeners, really quickly, I recently reconnected with Paul Wolfgang at Orlando Premiere. And we were at the Living Legends panel with, Candy Shaw, Sam Vila, all those people. And you told me, you're like, Chris, no, you will be teaching at this show next year. You're going to have your own room. Like, you are going to do it. And just so you know, I have been thinking about that like every single day. I heard your voice in the back of my head to do this podcast. And I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. And so here's the story.
I'm a big believer in manifestation. So it's like the second you start saying it, it'll just start happening. So what'd you do?
So it took me like a week or so. And I was like, this is it. This is it. The podcast is happening. I have to manifest this properly because, you have it until you speak it out. It's not real,
No, for sure. Yep. Especially when you say things like, I want to do this, or I hope to do this. And it's like, well, all you're going to do is just want and hope. So just say, this is going to happen. It's going to happen for me and I'm going to do it.
So you are, I do. I look up to you if I'm just being real and raw. Like I do. And I feel like we need to say that to each other more often, just as a whole. And I do feel like you're a complete powerhouse. And I just want you to share with the listeners what it is that you have done in the industry
Yeah.
and where you are now. Um, yeah, and how you make your money. Like, let's go. Go for it.
Okay. So I started in the beauty industry pretty early, but I was always that like hustler who's
Mm,
like working. I was bartending, I'm serving, I'm doing hair, I'm like renting a chair, I'm, teaching part time at that local hair school. Like I was just doing all these things for so long just to like make as much as I possibly could. And which truly, I mean, I did. I saved a lot of money and I opened up my first salon with that money. But I've had my salon now almost 10 years, so we're about to come up on our 10 year, and the salon generates around 2 million a year in sales. So the salon's thriving. We have an online business as well, so we have some products, and which we can get into that too. That's a whole
mhm,
different niche, but to keep your business kind of doing what it needs to do. And then also we have some partnerships with brands for extensions and color, and then we also have a cosmetology school that we just opened a couple months ago, and that took about 3 years. So it took 3 years of building to get to that point, and the school we're licensed to certify for the state of Florida, so cosmetologists and barbers, and then we also do advanced courses too. So I know you've seen some of our advanced courses that we teach, which those are so much fun. And kind of just living my best life now. So
I love
you know,
that.
and, and we have a big partnership coming up with the school that I can't really talk about, but I can talk about, the gist of, which I'm really excited about. So that'll happen too, starting next year. So we have a lot of big things happening, and I have a team of 20. Um, I do coaching, business coaching with salon owners. I only take on 5 salon owners at a time. So I have my fingers in many pies.
Okay, so which we're going to talk about the school in a minute, but
Yeah.
because there are some important points that we need to touch on with that, but I do see you on Instagram. You're like traveling to Morocco, living like this glamorous
Yeah.
life. Like, how do you balance between business, leading, living out your dreams? Like, how do you keep it all streamlined?
So truthfully, I think the last year has kind of been a little bit of a balance searching mission for
Mm,
myself, because when I was opening up the school, it was about 2 years worth of applications and paperwork with the Department of Education. And then of course
mm,
you have to build out a site and you have to work with the city. So there was all these elements kind of happening along with running my full-time business, my full-time chair. There was a lot of stress involved with that, and I kept sacrificing a lot of things. Like I was like, I'm not gonna go on vacation until this is done, and I'm not gonna treat myself to this until this is done. And I kept doing that to myself, and I realized that it was actually hurting my business more than anything, because it was kind of wearing me down. And in order for my business to do the best it can be, I have to be the best that I can be. So like one of the things that I've really had like an epiphany on was like, for me, I need my next vacation planned before the end of my vacation. So like my next trip is already planned. That way I have something to look forward to.
I love that. Yeah.
When you work hard for stuff, you have to have that reminder of like what it is you're working for. And like family and friends and kids and on stuff like that is great, but like we all need to figure out what that thing is that's going to help us like wake up and be like, I got to work hard and this is how I do it. But I do have a great support staff, so I am not just leaving. So, I'm not leaving like a toddler at the mall.
Hmm.
When I go out of town, I have leaders that are in place. We have operation manager, and the team is trained. So, they know what to. If your team can't operate without you, then you work for the business, and
Hmm.
that's not the way to do it. And that's how I used to do it.
Yeah,
Call me day and night, whatever you guys need, and that's not the right
exactly.
way to do things. Yeah, it's not good. So
So,
balance has been really hard.
okay, so you do believe in balance because I know some people are
Oh,
like,
definitely.
that doesn't even exist.
Well, I think it's like when people think about balance, they think like, okay, this is what I need to do to get balanced, and then I'm good. And it's like, well, no, that's just going to balance you out right now. So then in a couple of months, your balance you need to realign again.
Hmm.
I do kind of feel like if your home life is suffering and your business is thriving, you just need to realign, and then vice versa, and you just got to keep adjusting until you I think the people out there that are like they think there's some formula to balance. I think
Mm,
that they're just going to be disappointed forever because there's never going to be that time where you're like everything is perfect, all my boxes are checked. Like no, that's not a thing.
no,
You know, it's like
no.
we're always checking boxes and we're like shit, I forgot this one box, or I haven't talked to my grandma in a couple of weeks. Let me give her a call. Something silly
Yeah,
like that. But it's like it's real. We can't really
yeah,
balance everything. It's not possible.
right. The
So
human experience.
yeah,
So
I
when
think
you,
I feel like the act of balancing is what it is. We're always balancing, but I don't think we'll
Mhm.
ever really be perfectly balanced, is probably the better way to,
That's probably better. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, as an owner, as a leader, right, what systems would you say are like crucial for your business to even function while you're away?
I think number one, if you're not already doing sit downs regularly with your team, whether you call them coaching sessions or reviews or however you want to look at it, I feel like if that's not happening, then you're set up for a disaster no matter what.
Mm.
So I sit down with every team member at least every 6 weeks. I treat it like a haircut, you know? So it's kind of like by that time, I don't want you to get overgrown and unmanaged. So that's what we need to do. And not every sit down is like, this is what you're doing wrong. A lot of times, honestly, now in my career and where my path is, 90% of the teammates, when we sit down, it's all accomplishments at this point. So it makes
Oh,
it to where where it's like, hey, I know that, I'm not going to be here these dates. And while I'm gone, could you please make sure that you're managing this part of whatever you need to manage and have it set up that way the team knows who to go to for things, because the worst thing that you can do for your little chickies in the salon is to leave and then they feel like they needed you. So it's
mm,
better to have them have someone else. I think also the other thing too is to create a culture where your team understands that you also are human and that you're not living and breathing at the salon and in your business. You have to still go home and you have to like, cook dinner and go grocery shopping and go to the gym and go on vacation. Like these are all things that we have to do. And once you create that in your culture, I think your team will actually respect you. And when you're like, yeah, I'm out of town, they're not going to call you for the
yeah,
little stuff. You
right.
know, if the building's burning down, yeah, shoot me a text. But
But if it's not that, leave me alone, please and thank you.
yeah, and not even in a mean way, but that's I think
Right.
some bosses are like, I'm out of town, don't message me, nothing. I'm not, it's more like, no, your team needs to know that they have support through someone who's there.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that's what's important. Like I want to be able to say to somebody who's calling me like, have you talked to XYZ? Like,
Mm,
are you coming to me first? Like, let me redirect you. I'm not there, so please go to this person. They're your support right now.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And honestly, a lot, I love coming home and hearing teammates be like, oh, we missed you. But it's like, it's that forever thing with like a really good boss. It's like
Yeah.
they love it when you leave, but they love it when you come back.
Yeah. Oh my God, let me just catch you up on everything that happened.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I think it's one of those things that like a lot of business owners, not just hair salons, every kind of business owner, they're so petrified to leave their business. And I've even like talked to people that are like, yeah, I closed. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot imagine working for you. And I have to plan my vacations around your vacations now. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, I think that there's definitely some systems that you can bring into your business that make you feel good when you do leave.
Hmm. So you have a salon. The salon is also a spa or it offers spa services.
So we're not fully a spa, but we do offer clinical skin treatments.
Okay.
So I would consider like fully spa with you have massage and nails and stuff like
Mm,
that, and we don't offer those services.
okay. And then you have a school.
And we have a school and we offer
Okay.
cosmetology and barbering.
Okay. So then these are like all of your successes, I feel. But what have been some of the things that you've had to overcome to get to this point?
The biggest thing I think is actually like loosening the reins a little bit with control. I talked to some salon owners and the shit that we like want to control
Mm,
is it is non-income producing, and it's like let it go. Like, um, if you love the way your Instagram layout looks and your marketing person is kind of messing that up a little bit, it's like let it go. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's just some
Yes.
things like you're not going to win every single thing in every detail, and two, it's not good for your own mental health, and like
Right.
I've talked to salon owners and they like freak out over like, someone did a sign and the sign had a misspelled word, or just like so many little things. Or when a teammate says to you like, hey, I have this idea to like reorganize something, like let them reorganize it. Like it's not that crazy. If they have an idea for a class to bring into the salon, like let them bring it in. Like it's like
Mhm.
back up a little bit, and if you are doing your business correctly, you should be able to stand back and kind of watch it do its thing. And part of
Right.
that is your team. That was really hard for me, like really hard for me, because we have a vision,
Mhm.
and we are
Mhm.
like the creator of our vision. And when you start to see your vision not being exactly what you're like, it's like you're going crazy, but instead you actually have to be like, maybe my vision is just a vision. and and as long as we get kind of close to it, like
Yeah.
we should be happy. It's like when you do like a dream board, like you're not going
Yeah.
to get that house that's in that picture, but
Right.
you might have the same kind of fence and color scheme and all that. So it's kind of like some of the stuff you just got to learn to like let go, and let your team take control of some of the stuff, and let them
Yeah.
own it.
Pick your battles.
And
Pick your
do I
battles.
truly like, I really try really hard not to step on toes, like, because as a business owner, there's always somebody that customer, or maybe
Mhm.
a merchant you work with, and they just want to talk to you because you're the owner. And sometimes you have to say like, that's not my job. I need to put you on with the right person.
Oh,
and
yes, I
and that
see.
and that and that could be hard, because it's a little
Mhm.
bit of an ego booster, when they're like, can I talk to the owner? And you're like, here I am. And it's like, you know I can't help you with that, because it's not my job. It's not what I do here. I have a person that does that, so
Good
let me
for
bring you back.
you.
And
That's
I've had people say to me, like, oh well, I want to talk to you about this certain situation, whatever it is. And at the end of hearing it, I always circle back to, I understand where you're coming from. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. This person is actually who handles that. So do you mind if I just pass you along to them?
but doing that too, it totally empowers your team,
It does, yeah.
because at any moment that you say, I'm the owner, I'm the boss, you totally like deflate them a little bit.
Yeah.
But doing that, you like, nope, this is their job. They are perfectly capable of handling this and still completing the vision that we have here.
Yeah.
It's so
I
cool.
also, and I really do think too, like as business owners and leaders, we should keep tabs on our team
Mm,
instead of like every 10 minutes, like redirecting. So it's like, make a list in your phone, whether it's like a stored note and you just have their names in it, and you just put observations in there. And then when you do your next sit down, talk about some of the observations that matter. And you know what? Maybe some of the observations don't matter anymore. And
yeah.
then your team doesn't, and then your team doesn't feel like you're just constantly redirecting them all the time. It's more like,
Mhm.
I'll catch you at the next sit down and we'll chat about it.
Oh,
Unless they're like, selling drugs in the front of the
totally out of
business or
control.
something.
Right, 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 right.
Right. But most of our redirections are little things, and it's
Yeah.
just silly to keep doing that to team members. So
What do you feel has been your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
I think one of my, man, biggest failure, I love failures. Just to learning lessons. Um, I think my biggest failure was committing to work with distributors over
Mhm.
all these years, and now that I know that I can work direct with almost every single brand and get a better relationship, I wish I had done that 10 years ago.
Mm,
We would have had way more education, way better. I would have spent less money.
mm,
Um, that's probably in the top one. And I think also too, one of my biggest failures, I think, was investing so much emotional capacity in each individual team member. And when they are ready to disembark or go on their own journey,
mhm.
you take a hit on it. And it took me a long time to learn that like the sales never change. You know, our sales have never gone down from a team member leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to kind of wish them the best. And if they need me in the future, they know where to find me. That's a hard one to kind of swallow.
Yeah.
You know, it's because that's like, because you want to take it personally, even though it's just professionally. And it's okay. You know, if you're doing the right stuff and you're doing the right thing, you know, your honey is going to attract bees and it'll be fine. So, and then two, I've definitely made some financial mistakes in the
Mm-hmm.
past. I did a capital loan, which I don't know if you're familiar with capital loans.
But you can
They're
explain it for the listeners too.
Yeah, so capital loan is based on your sales, and typically what they do is they loan you a certain amount of money, and you pay back based on sales volume. So almost always they're connected through like your credit card processor or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they just rake you over the coals, man. So it's like Uh, and I just recently looked at one because I was just curious, and it just blows my mind that this is a thing that is happening in our industry because they target salons. So this is a
Yeah.
real thing. They target salons,
Oh man.
but the payback rate on some of them is 20% of what your sales are. So and I'm talking like total. So credit cards, tips, everything. Because if it goes through a credit card terminal, that's what you're paying back. And I did one of those loans to pay for a remodel
Mm-hmm.
for the school. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know, I'm going to do a loan through my business. I'm going to do this to pay
Mm-hmm.
for the school. And I think on like $100,000, I ended up paying back like 140. And then not just that, the rate at which I was paying it back at was like sometimes $26,000 a month.
Oh
Because
my God.
and when you look at your business and you say, like, let's just say, for example, your business does $100,000 a month, which just to make it a simple number, because 100
Yeah.
is easy to divide. If your business is doing well, you're making about $15,000 in profit.
Mm-hmm.
And for a payback loan to be at 18% of what your sales are, including everything, you're paying back more than what you're making in profit. And so that was
I'm
very, very stressful.
sweating. I'm
Yeah,
sweating.
it was a really stressful time for me because I was looking at, you know, what we were growing and also getting pushed back by the Department of Education because it was a longer process than what I was led to believe. So I was
Mhm.
like, well, don't worry, we'll be making more money on, you know, this business. And so then what do you do as a business owner? You stop paying yourself,
Mhm.
you start sacrificing, and then you start putting in your own personal money. It was just really rough. That was probably the most stressed out I've ever been in my life, trying to pay back because too I'm like I love a debt free life, so
Mhm.
you know I want to pay things back. I'm not going to ignore it. But man, when you see a $28,000 bill come through, it's monthly. It's rough.
Oh my
And
God.
I just recently looked like maybe a few weeks ago with somebody at the salon because I wanted to show her because I was kind of explaining to her what these types of loans look like.
Mhm.
And I was qualified for $200,000.
Mhm.
And I just showed her like this little scale that it kind of gives you. And the payback was 18% of your credit card sales. And I just did like quick math on a calculator. And I was like, this is how much we would be paying back this loan for every month. And I said, and this is how much our profit is. And she looked at me and goes, that's double the profit. And I was like, exactly. So, how are some of these businesses taking these loans out and how are they repaying it? I have no idea
That
because
hurts. That hurts me.
well, and think about like what your credit card sales are in your salon. Mine are over 90% of my business. So unless you're a predominantly cash business, you're going to fuck yourself on that
Mhm.
loan
Mhm.
100%.
Totally.
Um,
And
and that was a super,
that's why so many are just like their mental
yeah,
health is struggling because they're like, oh, money, free money, let's go.
yep.
And it's like, no, baby, you need to
It's,
think about this.
and it's the opposite. It's not free money. It's worse than free money. I
Right.
mean, it's a trap,
It's
really.
a
It's a
trap.
big trap.
It's a
And
trap.
you know, now I know looking back, it's like, well, if you qualify for, let's say you qualify for 50 grand and they're like repayment at 20%, that means you can qualify for 50 grand pretty much at any other conventional place,
Mm-hmm.
get a term loan that's going to make way more sense for you. And
Mhm.
then you're not trapped in this massive repayment schedule, which you end up paying back. The interest is the same regardless, whether you pay back in 12 months or in 5 years. Like the interest isn't changing. They just
Mhm.
get their money back so fast because they know that they can get you trapped in there. So it's like I even talked to somebody recently where I was like, if you qualified for 50 grand, I was like, borrow 25 at a 10%
Mhm.
repayment. If you're gonna do
Mhm.
it, do half, okay? Because you're
Mhm.
not gonna be able to float that. There's no
No.
way.
Mm-mm.
And it's like what businesses have a 20% or higher profit margin? I mean, I don't own a trailer park community, but like you know what I mean? Like I don't know there's some salons out there that do have a 20%, 25% profit margin, and like kudos to them. Um, but like my business, we spend a lot of money in education and I spend a lot of money on my team. So I feel better at night with a lower profit margin and a
Mhm.
very successful team.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just successful like money wise. I mean
Mhm.
successful, healthcare, 401k,
Right.
pay time off, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are my three. Those are my
Those
three
are-
things.
yeah, but rightly so. Like,
I
okay.
know. I know. If you were sweating with that last one,
I
sorry.
I was like, oh no. Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about the school because I know before we got on, you were like, listen, I want to talk about this. So
Yeah.
spill your beans. Let's go.
Well, your podcast the other day actually is what like made me think about it because I was really thinking like, and too like I don't know your experience with hair school, but if I said you on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like completely satisfied, no one's saying a 10.
Mm-mm.
And I would say most people at best are maybe throwing like a 7 out there. Like no one's really saying I had a great experience. And if they said that they have a great experience, if you follow up with, do you feel like you were prepared for the industry? They
Mm.
almost always are going to say no, they're not. And that's really sad to me. It's sad to me because one, we have a government that regulates our industry, but we also don't really have any type of guidelines that are like, well, you have to get them trained for the industry. Instead, it's more like worrying about things that don't necessarily matter anymore. And I'll just kind of like give you like and so when we opened the school, this is pretty much where my brain was at. I was like, I want a school where we're treating it like a business. So the students are our customers. And when they leave, I want them to be 5-star satisfied. Like I want them to leave being like, I learned what I needed to learn. I feel ready to work if that's what they want to do. Or we've paired them up with salons because we're doing a shadowing program where they go out to salons. And so like I want them to get like leave school and be a transition. But not just that. I don't want them doing little bitties roller sets all day long because it's not what we're doing anymore.
Right.
So it's crazy when we really think about it. It's like we're teaching them a completely different subcategory of the industry. We're teaching them about beauty school services and not the actual beauty salon services. So to
Right.
me, it's a wildly different. And and since we started our program, we've realized you can totally fast track people. Like we have a group that's 5 weeks in and they're cutting and foiling and like they're just jumping into it, man. And it's like why are we spending so much time on some stupid shit that doesn't matter anymore?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and we created an a la carte system. So it's like if you want to do extensions, you can come to our extension training. If you want to be more advanced precision cutting, if you want to learn Vidal Sassoon, London style, or if you want to do French cutting, if you like whatever you want to, like whatever is like really speaking to your soul, like that's what we want. We want people to leave and be like, I got everything I wanted, plus I can go back for more if I have anything else I want to learn.
Mhm.
And that's just like not happening. Like I talk to salon owners or school owners all the time, and it's like they're so out of touch with it
Mhm.
that they and it's almost, I hate to say like a brainwash thing, but like I even
Mhm.
recently talked to a girl that runs a salon down in West Palm, and she was like, can you believe these young people coming in and they don't even know how to do a perm? And I'm like, yeah, I can believe it because I've done one perm in the last year. So like to me it's like, yeah, absolutely can believe it. I think it's ridiculous that we think that they have to come in and know how to do finger waves like a pro. Like just know what it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't know
Mhm.
why we overthink it too much, and we have this mindset like oh god, you didn't learn anything in hair school, and it's like, well, no, they didn't, because they were rolling, Grandma Susie's hair every
Right.
day for 9 months, and it's like, they come out shaking, holding a foiling comb. It's crazy.
It sounds a lot like when you are sitting down to write out your vision, your mission, your values for a business. It sounds like the same thing for the beauty school.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It was kind of born out of necessity, I think. So
Okay.
so I so I taught at a local school for
Mhm.
7 years,
Yeah.
and it was like I found it very rewarding because I worked at a private school before that.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't think school should cost $26,000. Like, I was like, I just think that that's crazy. Um,
That
love
was
that
more,
there's,
that's more than my university education. Okay. Let me
but it's
just
crazy that
put
that's a
it out
lot
there.
of money.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
I was like, so when I worked for the local community college, I was like, yeah, $3,000 for you to go to hair school. I was like, I totally support that.
Mhm.
Like, I want people to be able to go. But then when I went from one end to the complete opposite end, and then I
Right.
realized our budget was $16,000 for the whole year for products, and I was like, this is impossible. And then I realized that too many people were just kind of in that routine, and they're like, yeah, but this is what it is. Like, this is all we have. And I'm like, no, it can be different. Like, we can do this different. So like, I was like, we need to go in the middle. So it's like, I can wrap my head around a $7,000-8,000 tuition to pay for what you're going to get out of it. Okay, I know girls that go and take classes that are $2,000 and they're one day. So, and you're stuck with me for like at least like 60 to 75 days. So it's like, to me, I'm like, yeah, we can totally make this work, but also at the same time, it's like, you know, we can't really teach high end services on a low end budget. So we have to
Hmm.
figure out a way to get in there and get in the middle. And what I learned is that, like, there's a lot of really talented hairstylists out there, and they will never come teach because the money isn't there.
Mm.
And so now our business model is a little bit different. It's,
Yeah.
let's bring salon owners in a couple
Mm.
hours a month. They get to meet students,
Yeah.
potential hires,
Yep.
and that will bring in relative education for them, real life education. And then we also are going to teach them how to market themselves to their friends and family so that they get real people in that want real things. We're not carrying $10 shampoo, which we do have $10 shampoo to sell, but
Hmm.
we range from $10 to $60.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to break this mold of beauty school clients and students of like, no, this is a training facility for you as an individual creator and stylist. That way, when you leave, you know how to sell the $60 shampoo if that's what you want to sell and that's the product you believe in. And also do the services that you want to do and that you believe in and that you actually want to, like, if we're artists, we
Right.
should be honing on what we want to do.
That is
Um,
it. This is incredible because I'm hearing what you're saying and just my own experience of going into various cosmetology schools and just seeing like the invisible wall that they put up,
yeah.
the minute you say you're an owner and hey, can I give a class? Can I say what there's to
Yep.
offer? There's an immediate like
And
there's
you know what?
a hex on
And you know
you.
what's crazy that you say that, because I actually just spoke to someone with a very large company, and all of their corporate schools that they have. She said that they don't allow any outside education to come in because of a couple of situations that have happened. And it was like one of those things where I'm like, so you're hurting so many people from getting outside education because of a few salon owners that maybe came in and started to poach or do whatever they wanted. I don't know what it was, but it's like, who cares? Like,
Like, isn't that the goal though, anyway, to get the students out so you can,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well,
Okay.
it was kind of one of those things too, where I even said to the person we were talking about it, and they were like, "Yeah, but like, we got to protect the students." And oh, I think it was a product company that came in, actually. That was like
Oh,
what broke it, because
oh.
they were really pushing a product and how to sell it. And it's like, okay, cool, but that is literally a job market. Okay,
Hmm.
like, I don't care who is like, I don't want to be a salesman. You might not want to be, but the person next to you might literally look at that and say, that's a better life for me. Maybe I want to work a 9 to 5 and be
Yeah.
a brand specialist and go, like, so to me, I'm like, that's just wrong in education. Education should open the doors to everybody. I don't
Right.
care if it's a product. Like, I don't believe in every product, but yeah, come and teach at my school. And like, just because I have a student that maybe is on the organic path and one that's on the non-organic path, like, we should be bringing in everything. Like, it
Hmm.
doesn't really, it blows my mind when I talk to school directors and they're like, yeah, we don't let salon owners come in. I'm like, oh my God, like, what do you think they're gonna do? Like, and you know what really they're gonna do? Really, what they're afraid of? The salon owner is gonna talk shit about the school. That's what they're afraid of. And they're, because it's like every school director or owner or teacher, they hate it when that salon owner comes in and they're like, you guys aren't learning anything new, let me bring all my new. So it's like this like ego thing, and I'm like, ah, oh, God, it's so dumb. Like,
That's
just it
terrible.
it
That's
is.
terrible. That's terrible. All right. So,
So yeah.
so I can only imagine that you are very popular in the sandbox of school directors and founders.
Well, I was one, so for a school, and actually, recently the VPs have kind of brought me back in to kind of like, to be a part of what
Oh,
they're
wow.
doing and what they're
Cool.
creating. So I think there are people out there now that are kind of opening up their eyes to like, okay, yeah, what we were doing or what we are doing isn't really working. We need to make some shifts. So
Hmm.
like, I have mad respect for those people that are willing to
Yeah.
kind of like look at that. But I also too know that there's some that they just must hate me. They must. Because too, like, I'm the person at the department education meetings that are going to stand up and I'm going to say that this is ridiculous. Like,
That's good.
you
But
guys,
it's good. It's good. Disrupt it. Disrupt that thing. It's a broken system.
yeah,
Disrupt it. I'm all for it. Um, so I think it would be safe to say that I know there's a craze right now in the industry where they want to deregulate, take
yeah,
away our
it's actually
license.
happening. It's already happened actually. So I don't know if you
So
even know that in Florida it's lower hours now.
I can't. Oh my God. Okay. But what do you think about that? Are you for that? Are you against that?
So here's and I'm gonna and I actually think that you're going to agree with me when I'm done saying this, but you're not going to agree with me at the beginning. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
I'm for deregulation
Mhm.
with a plan.
Okay.
So I am absolutely 100% backed on lowering the hours
Okay.
as long as it's being replaced by maybe an apprenticeship system or something like that. So
Mm.
that way students can potentially go into salons and find mentors and work with them, but the salons that do this are going to have to get licenses in order to do that. So
Mm.
I am for deregulation in the idea that what we're doing now just needs to be changed, but I'm not for it if all they're doing is just cutting hours. I'm not for that. And I'll tell you why. I think that most people coming out of hair school are undertrained,
Mhm.
most.
Mhm.
So to lessen something where they're already coming out undertrained is just wild to me. But I also think that an hour system is ridiculous because I have students that are banging out haircuts in 45 minutes, and then I have some that are doing it in 3 hours. So we know the hour system doesn't work. And so I don't think that there's a perfect solution, but I do think that if we're going to deregulate something, we need to deregulate, but give it into the hands of the industry.
Yeah.
Who better to teach truck driving than a truck driver or a truck driving company, right?
It's
So it's like,
bringing back the old system of the apprenticeship.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, and truly, not to dog on a tattoo artist because I have a lot of friends that are tattoo artists and they're
Mhm.
incredible artists, but they don't have to do anything close to what we have to do, and they're dealing with
Blood.
blood. And most of the time, they just have to go to their local health department and they just have to pay the fee and get their license and work under, a tattoo shop. So they just have to do like an HIV training thing or like a blood
Hmm.
pathogen. So it's like, we have some industries that are just like not even regulated at all, basically. And
Hmm.
then we have us who it's like, yeah, you want to cut hair, you need to go to school for a whole year and you need to spend $30,000 and you can't work your 9 to 5 and forget your kids and you're not allowed to
Hmm.
take time off and you can't make a flexible schedule and know the
Hmm.
book only comes in English. Like it's all these
Yeah.
different little things and we keep like
Yeah.
pinholing it.
Yeah.
So it's like so the deregulation thing, I'm a little bit like, yeah, with a plan, but
With a
it
plan.
kind of seems like in Florida there's not a plan. So
It's like weird everywhere. I don't even,
it
but
is.
I do believe in the strengthening of the apprenticeship because as creatives, we learn best hands-on. Like we need to
Yeah.
see it. Don't talk
Yeah.
at me, talk with me, be with me, guide me, show me. So
Well, and I
I'm
think
for
too,
that.
like you've trained people, so
Mhm.
you understand that if they know nothing, it's a long process. If they know
Mhm.
foundation,
Yes.
it's actually fantastic. But
Mhm.
if they know how to do something wrong for too long, now
Uh-huh.
we have to go in reverse. Oh my God, it's so much harder. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone start working for me and I'm like, you've been doing hair for 8 years and I got to reteach you how to cut or something like that. And it takes them 2 years to get into the job, like of doing it the right way. But then I get a brand new student and you show them the right way or the right ways to do things.
Mhm.
And they're just thriving so
Yeah.
quickly. And so I think the apprenticeship is the right way to go because we got to get them into the salons working with mentors that kind of catch them when they know their foundations and not, a year and a half later where they're farting around and they did hair in
Mhm.
their kitchen and they had to go here and they had to go there and they got fired from that job because they didn't know what they were doing. And so it's tough. It's tough in
Yeah.
our industry, I think, to
It
not only
is.
learn, you got to know that you're learning the right thing, but then also too, when you leave, where you're going to go to continue learning.
Mhm.
It's tough,
It's a
especially if you don't know
whole
anybody.
it's like a whole I'm kind of excited about it actually because if we start
Yeah.
it in the schools, then the salons are forced to
Yeah.
change to meet the standard, the new
Well,
standard.
and think about that too, because it's like, well, if everybody is making high end champagne, it just means the prices of champagne are going to go up. So
Right.
it's the same thing. If we elevate our industry
Mm-hmm.
and people are coming out learning more, knowing how to do things more, we're going to get clients that are way more satisfied with services. You're not coming in with any of those like red flag scarred people who sit down in your chair and they're like, don't use a razor, don't use thinning shears, and I want highlights without bleach because this one girl fried my hair off. It's like we're going to see less and less of that. We're going to see more professionals. We're going to see prices stay more level, and
Mm-hmm.
it's only going to make the industry better.
Yeah.
It's only going to make it better. It can't make it worse.
So here's a fun question.
Hmm.
What insults have you gotten that you're just so proud of?
Oh God. Well, confession, I don't really manage my social media. So I
Okay.
I I I pop into it every now and then. But my marketing person has actually like shown me some of the things that people have said that she's had to hide. And
Is this like your personal one or this is the salon?
well, she does both because my personal is a little bit professional.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but it's more on the salon because, some people think like, because my salon is big. So, like,
Mhm.
it's like they forget that I'm still a real person who owns it. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
just like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not
Yes.
L'Oreal. Like, I'm a
Forget.
real human. Yeah.
Yes, I
So,
get it.
I've had I think my favorite thing that someone thinks is gonna hurt, but it never does is your prices are too high.
Oh,
You
I love
know,
that one. I love that one.
your prices too high to me are just I don't want to say it's a compliment, but like it just says to me like,
You're
well,
doing it right.
the filter has worked.
You're right.
um
You're right.
and it's like in a perfect world, like yeah, I'd love to be able to do everybody's hair, but that's not really how it's going to be. And
Mhm.
it's we should be treating our clientele like supply and demand.
Mhm.
I My prices are high, they just are.
It's just the way it is. Like the sky is blue and
Yeah.
the grass is green.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're not getting lower, and that's okay. I did have somebody recently like comment. Didn't Not even anybody who even is like anybody who matters, but someone commented on like a hair cutting video
Oh,
that we
oh.
had, and they were like, "This guy acts like he invented layers." So I commented and was like, "I did invent layers," and we had this like weird back and forth where I just kept being like, I'd be like, "I also invented hair," so like there's that, and it was like like if you can't make fun of it a little bit, you have to realize like these people are not they're not like mentally healthy because they're
Right.
commenting such negative shit. So it's like
Yeah.
don't even treat them like they're like a peer because they're not. So people that do that, it's like you're obviously distressed from something in your life. You're in despair. I don't know what's going on. Like I'm not your
Right.
therapist. I'm not your mom. Like I can't be there
Right.
for you. But
Right.
also too like God, I hope you like do better in life and leave the internet people alone. Like let us
Yeah.
just do our thing.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think that we are being kind of trained to like hold armor up all the time
Hmm.
because of people like that and
Especially as owners, because you always got to think
oh
of
yeah.
the ability part and the lawsuits and all that part. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's like one of those things now where I kind of look at it like I have the armor, but I'm not holding it up all the time. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to protect I don't want to feel like I have to protect myself constantly, but it's like, yeah, you want to come for me, like please try. But also, you know, I'm still gonna have the armor down and like be real and be nice.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are very, very armored nowadays
Mhm.
and I think it affects them more than it affects the people that they think they're protecting themselves from, truthfully.
Absolutely. So, what's
Yeah.
one lesson? Okay, being in the hair world, in the beauty industry, what is a lesson that you wish lawyers, doctors, mailmen, anybody out there that what's the lesson that you wish that they learned that you have learned in this industry?
So, oh man, that's interesting. That's a good question. That's actually a really good question because I don't really know too much about those industries, but
Mhm.
I know that they are not working in a creative industry.
Mhm.
And so there is obviously laws to follow for lawyers,
Mhm.
you know. So I think when we kind of compare industries, maybe the one thing is that this is a creative industry and it is a people industry. So, and I'm sure you hear it all the time from clients too. When you know that your client, you know your client, you
Mhm.
know your client, you know what they're asking for doesn't make any sense. You know what, so you, and then you do what you need to do, and they go, this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you so much for kind of understanding what I was trying to say to you. Or,
Mhm.
and it's like, I kind of think that like a lot of those industries could probably learn a little bit from that instead of just kind of treating it like a form, you know?
Mm.
And that people are people and we're confusing people, you know, we don't always, especially if I sat down with like an architect, you know,
Yeah.
if I sat down with an architect to design something, you know, like yeah, I know where I want the walls and stuff, but like, you know, I don't know anything about how far the outlet's got to be spaced and where the windows
Right,
got to go.
right,
So so
right.
it's like, you know, so like, you know, they got to kind of also understand that it's really difficult to interpret what someone wants
Mhm.
from what they're saying they want.
Yeah.
And that can be really tough.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
But I yeah, I know. And you
So,
know too, like I'm a firm believer in like you can't make everyone happy,
mm,
but the ones that you can't make happy are usually because no one can make them happy.
so with being in the industry, our it's all about relationships. It's a very intimate space that we
Yeah.
live every day. How do you nourish or manage or have relationships outside of the salon when they don't really know what you do?
So, you know, I think I'm one of those rare breeds where most people that I know outside the salon either come to my salon or they're one of my guests. I know a lot of people that they're like, it's crazy how many people, you know that come to your business. And I was like, well, I'm proud of my business.
Mhm.
I'm proud of my work. So I'm never going to be the person that says to somebody like, oh, I don't mix personal and professional
Mm,
because I know what I'm offering is good, you know,
right.
like I know our muffins taste good. You know what I mean? Like, so come have a muffin is basically what I'm saying. But I do know that there's some people that can't afford our muffins. So and I've had a couple of people that, you know, it's like the I wish you could do my hair, but I can't afford you kind of thing, like in my life. And it's like
What do you tell
I'm
those
like, well,
people? What do you tell those
when,
people?
whenever you can afford it, let me know.
Good for you. I'd be like, oh.
You're missing out on some good muffins,
I
baby.
I know. I just say
You know,
thank you.
like,
Like it's a big compliment, right? They're like, I wish I
yeah.
could come to you. I just can't afford it. And I know that that's like a conditioned kind of thing in people to
Mm,
say stuff like
yeah.
that because then you go, oh well, what do you want done? And now we're doing a console, and I'm
Oh,
not doing that.
no,
I try to
no.
teach actually. I try to teach all of my assistants when they first train under me that when you're out and someone comes up to you and they say, "You're a hairdresser, right?" Because that's going to happen.
Hmm.
Because it's going to be the 15th time that they've seen you and they know that you're a hairstylist because their friend over there said, oh that's Christine, she's a hairstylist, and so like it's going to happen. And I'm like, when that happens and they say stuff like, what would you do with my hair? I'd say I'd love to do your hair and I'd love to talk to you about it. First I would make an appointment. That's the
Mm,
first thing that I would do. And
yes.
no, but like what would you do? I would make an appointment so we can talk about it.
I
because I'm
love that. I
because
love
I'm
it.
at dinner, I'm with my friends, I'm with my family, and I don't want to, I don't want to disrespect their time by doing a business transaction over here. So make an appointment.
I love that throughout our call today, you, without even saying it, you are embodying and living boundaries, healthy mental state, doing what you need, manifesting, doing what you need to do with the limited amount of days you have, on this
Yeah.
earth, right? You're not wasting time, but you're being respectful of your guests, your team, your students, your family, your friends. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
that's just so beautiful.
I don't think boundaries have to be mean. I think a lot of people
No.
interpret boundaries as mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you talk to people and they're like, I'm putting up boundaries. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, girl, like you don't need to be fierce. Just like you still
Just do
want
it.
clients. Yeah. Like I still want to do the person's hair that approached me at dinner. I just don't want to talk about it at dinner.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of people are like, well, how do you have that conversation? And it's like, well, it takes practice. It does,
Mhm.
but also
Mhm.
too, you won't get every single one of them. And you know what? That's fine because the ones that don't book that appointment with you, they don't value your time anyway.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You see that? Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
ones that have there's I've had people say to me, they're like, I love that you said that to me, like, out. I'm sorry I did that to you. It's like, no, girl. Like the fact you're apologizing to me just means that you're the perfect client for me. Because you and I are on the
Oh,
same page. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
so so it's like I value my clients' time as well. I've
Mhm.
maybe had 2 or 3 days in my whole career that I've had to reschedule because of something happened.
Yeah, I
And
see.
it's like I value their time just like I expect them to value my time. I think a lot of people put up boundaries,
Mhm.
but they also don't have the like the devotion to like you're putting up boundaries, but you're also kind of a mess. So it's
Yes.
like, do you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like
Yes.
people
I
that
know
are
what you're
like,
saying.
yeah, they're like, I'm enforcing a cancellation policy. And it's like, good for you. And then they're like, but I did have to cancel all my appointments yesterday because I had a nail appointment I forgot about that I had to go to. Or like, I woke up hungover, so I had to move my girl in the morning. And it's like, listen, like, I'm proud of you for understanding that you need some of those boundaries. But I also think too, like, you don't even deserve boundaries because you're not even devoted to what you're supposed to be doing. So
Mhm.
I think we all need to kind of like really like wake up to that a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you can't get mad about stuff that you kind of ask for in your life.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I know time is coming to a close, but we didn't really talk too much about your coaching and the,
Okay. Yeah.
I guess, like the protocol of like how you even get your clients, how your filtering system, what you do to advertise that out. Just
Yeah.
share really quickly your coaching business, really.
So I would say a few months ago, I had somebody say to me, like, how come you don't tell people about coaching? And I was like,
Uh-huh.
well, I tell people. I said, I just don't have it on my website. I don't have,
Mm.
my Instagram doesn't say like business coach or anything
Right.
like that. I have a big Rolodex of people that I know.
Mhm.
So it is helpful for me that I don't have to do that.
Mhm.
I always have one salon owner like ready to sign up. So like right now I have two.
Mhm.
So as soon as I have openings, then I have an opening right now, so I'll have one on the back burner.
Mhm.
But essentially, like my approach to what I do is so organic. Like it's we start with just 6 calls. The
Mhm.
6 calls have categories, and we basically target those categories with the person. And what I've learned from coaching is I personally don't like being told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like more of a conversation like me and you are having,
Right.
because it helps kind of spark innovation, or maybe helps me get through whatever kind of little hump I'm having. Like, I know how to run a business. I don't need basic coaching. So for someone to be like, you need this, you need that, you need that, like, I don't want that. I don't even want those people to coach. You know, I want people like me and you that are like, they don't have business partners, so they want to bounce ideas off of somebody, or like, you know, maybe they're having like a staff issue and they want to kind of talk to somebody that's been through it. So I want to say it's like almost like a combo of like
Okay.
therapy and like
Yeah.
coaching.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get like a message, you know, from someone I'm coaching, and they're like, hey, like, this is really pissing me off about this person
Yeah.
or this thing or that thing. And it's like, hey, I'm here for you. And of course we talk about numbers, and we talk about, you know,
Mhm.
taking our emotions out of things. And I'm sure, you know, you're on that same wavelength. You know,
Yep.
we need to put our emotions into things that deserve emotions, and we need to take them out of things that don't deserve emotion.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, so the coaching process for me is more of a passion project, I think, than it
Yeah.
is really like a big lucrative full-time gig. I don't have time. I just don't have the time to devote to more than that. So,
Right.
and 10 calls a month is a lot. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so when I hit 5, I realized, I was like, oh, I cannot do more than this. You
Mm-mm.
know, I was like, this is a lot. And sometimes my calls are not 90 minutes. Sometimes they're 120, or, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
longer, depending
Right.
on what topic we're in. But I think nowadays, like, you know, when you went to Premiere, you go to any of these big hair shows, and it's like the coaching industry is like exploded over the last
Mm-hmm.
couple of years. And you and I both know it's because hairstylists are like falling apart in their minds, and they are, you know what I mean? Like, we're just like distraught over everything. But it's like, it's not
Yeah.
just us, it's everybody. So
It's
like, you know,
everyone.
we're not special. Like, we're all kind of
Mhm.
going through it.
Mhm.
But salon owners are targeted because they have money. So it's like,
Right.
and so when I talk to some salon owners about coaching, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you can cancel with me anytime. I don't care. It's not going to hurt my feelings. When you see growth in your business, just know that it's not me, it's you.
Mm.
And because I hate that whenever like a coach is like, you saw how much you growing you did? Like, that's since we did coaching. Well, like, no shit. They want to grow. Like, hopefully they're growing. Like, right?
Yeah,
Like,
like what?
I see that stuff all the time, and I'm like, well, yeah, you signed up for coaching because you're in the mindset to grow your business. Of
Mm-hmm.
course it's gonna grow, you know. So I'm like, you know, try to like grab a failing business and pull that business owner in and say, hey, can I coach you for free? And then turn them around, and then be proud of that.
Yeah.
But I do think that our our industry needs to like be less afraid to like have these conversations and talk about stuff, because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're so afraid of like someone stealing our tactics
Yeah,
and
that
our,
is driving me
oh my
crazy.
god,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it
No,
is.
no, I
I
can't.
even like I recently shared another stylist's haircut on my page
Uh-huh.
from another salon. uh and like, yeah, she did a cutting class with me, and but I was like, you know, like, I'm gonna toot your horn, like, bitch, you did it. Like, it's awesome. It looks fabulous. Like, the model's beautiful. Like, you did work. Like, let me like praise you for it. And there's that kind of stylist, like me and you. There's that kind of person that's gonna
Mhm.
do that and like build it. And then there's the other one that's gonna go, well, I don't want to lose a client that might want me to cut their hair. Or what if my client sees that haircut and then they go to that person for that? Well, like, good God, who cares? Like, let them go get their hair cut by the person if it's that serious. Like,
It's
it's just not.
just you opening that door for all of us to coexist, really, you know?
Yeah,
And that freedom creates trust, creates loyalty. Um,
yeah, I think so too.
you know.
And two, it's like, it's, do you really, like, I think we keep forgetting, like, you have the clientele you deserve. So it's
Mm,
like, do you really want the client that's going to leave you because you posted a haircut from someone else? Like, I don't want that client. So
right,
if anything, I look at it like it's actually helping me if I lose a client, because I don't want them anyway.
right. So,
So,
what's a question you wished I asked, and how would you have answered?
um, have you ever, I honestly, I actually was talking to somebody about this and they were like, do you know what they're going to ask you? And I was like, no, I kind of like it that I don't know, because it truly makes me think, like, in the moment, like, because, you know, a part of me is like, wow, people are going to listen to this. So I don't want to, like, you know, but I kind of do want to divulge too much. But like, one of the things that they said, they're like, well, what if they ask you something like, have you ever thought about selling your business? And I'm like, well, I think if you own a business and you haven't thought about selling your business, then you have a shitty business. So, so I think if you had asked me, have you thought about selling your business? I'm like, yeah, probably at least once a week I think about it, because I'm like, you know, it's one of those things that's like, you know, it's thriving, it's doing well, and you know, you should sell your business when it's thriving and doing well. But then at the same time, when it's thriving and doing well, it's a lot of fun and you're doing well. So like, why sell? So
Right.
I think I'll forever be in that little
That little
circle.
loop.
Yeah. Like maybe like, you know, I'll be that business owner that's like, I'll want to sell it when it's like failing, which is the wrong time to sell
Here you
it.
go. Pass it on
Yeah.
to somebody else.
Yeah. So I think if you see like my business is up for sale, that means I've just had it. Like I'm done. But
I'll have to do send you a quick text. Be like, are you okay? Are you
yeah.
sure?
Well, you know, it's like it's one of those things. It's like, well, we go into business for a reason. We're in business because it's a business.
Exactly.
And I don't think I'll ever really leave my industry. I don't think I'm selling, the business is not selling anytime soon, like next 10 years soon, you know, like there's no way it's going out. I'm too young for that. So
Yeah.
you
So
can't play an exit strategy when you're not even ready to exit.
you're not even ready. You're like just
No.
beginning. You're just beginning and
Yeah.
you're like enjoying the wave. No, enjoy it.
Well,
Forget
I
it.
tried explaining to somebody, I said, you know, you are not ready to exit your business until you like own the building, you have some real estate, you have to have your income coming from a lot of different avenues. So like when
Mm,
people are like, oh, this salon's doing great, I want to sell. And I'm like, yeah, but you're like leasing your space. Like you're not ready to sell. Like
mhm,
you need like everything lined up. Like you've just begun, you know, like you're
mhm.
not even close to being ready.
Yeah.
And two, you know, I'm only 35. So
You
it's
spring
I have
chicken. You little
I
spring
know,
chicken.
right? We have so many years left.
So many. So where people listening, and if they want to work with you or come visit the salon or get coaching with you, take a
Yeah.
class, how can they get in contact with you?
So if anybody was interested in applying at my salon, we are currently on a hiring freeze. So we are on a wait list for hiring,
Okay.
which is like I'm super proud to say. So
Awesome. Which,
that's
by the
yeah.
way, is it commission? Is it rental? Is it hybrid? Is it, what is it?
So we're a commission or hourly. So
Okay.
the hourly is really great for people that are first starting to build clientele. You know, I think that it's really important. A lot of people don't realize that, you know, a lot of salons, you just kind of come in and you just kind of wait around for clients. I
Mhm.
believe in the old school method. I put clients in your chairs. So I firmly believe that my job as your salon owner, not as your leader, but as your salon owner, is to give you
Mhm.
clients. That is
Yes.
literally my job. So we work really hard to get like close to around 200 new clients a month into the salon.
Mhm.
And that's for our team. So, you know, you can definitely build so fast. I've got stylists that make over 100,000 a year within a year and a half of working with me. So, you know, they just are killing it. Um, but again, still apply because we
Yeah.
go through the applications in order on the wait list. Uh, for our school, you can inquire at the Advanced Academy, and that's at learnhairtoday.com. And enrollment is every 10 weeks. So if they want to be a student for coaching, you have to just reach out to me personally. So you can do it through my Instagram. And then I will put you on the wait list for that. And I only have, technically, I have one person in front right now. And usually I would say in the year, like two or three move in and out of that. I have one right now that like I just hit like a year and a half with regular coaching with. I'm like, do you think it's time to like go to quarterly? And she was like, no, I don't.
Like, okay.
I was like, okay, whatever you're comfortable with, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, you got to get value out of what you do. So,
Mhm. And we'll have all those links in the show notes too.
okay.
So people can reach out. But Paul, thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you. I think what you're doing is really great. And I hope that a lot of especially new stylists or like people in hair school start to listen to this kind of stuff, because there's so much information to kind of share and go over. And it's like, the world can be a little scary, especially with Instagram, TikTok influence and stuff like that, and what you think is real in the 4-second video you saw. And people need to hear that, like, one, it's not as scary as it really is, and we're still people, and these conversations you're having are real. And I love seeing that people in our industry are not like giving up on our industry.
Right.
There's still a lot of really good, passionate people out there, and
yeah,
I just love it.
well, thank you so much. So if you are listening to this episode with Paul Wolfgang, make sure to reach out, send him I loved the episode DM, or come to Florida and attend one of his classes. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
That's a wrap on my chat with Wolfgang. If your ears didn't just explode into greatness, I don't even know what to say. This guy has vision. He knows what he wants. And the best part, you can too. Don't be intimidated by others' stories. Use what you have. Make it great and be happy. If you want to know more on business, school ownership, or how to make it all happen, check out this episode's show notes to get in contact with Wolfgang himself. P.S. He's basically like Madonna. Wolfgang. Madonna. Wolfgang. I mean, that's it. Can you tell how much I love his name? Chat you later. If you loved this episode, subscribe to the BeautyPro podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to leave your reviews, stars, feedback so I can continue bringing the content you deserve and want most. Your feedback fuels this podcast. The more you give, the more you get back. You can follow me at The BeautyPro Coach on Instagram and Facebook. Want to contact me directly? Email me at befree@goldentruthcoaching.com.